Columbus's deadline, Jarmo didn't do much. He traded Max. We know this, which was the biggest thing that they did. We figured either way, Max was either going to stay or go, more than likely go.
And we figured that it was at a point where he was just going to go because they weren't going to extend him, and you don't want to lose him for nothing.
Right. The one thing that shocked me that kind of also didn't was, not shopping Corpy. There really wasn't a market for Korpisalo.
I'd have to imagine that's done out of good faith. And the reason I say good faith is because he had the injury, and I don't think it was suffered in the Pittsburgh game. I think it's something that's been nagging for a little bit, and I think the Pittsburgh game was the final straw, and they put him on IR. His season's over.
His hip surgery, yes.
Why? Because it's not good business to trade a goaltender who's already hurt.
And going for surgery.
Yeah, I think
and it's hip surgery.
We were wondering if they were going to trade him. We were wondering why, because it came to a point where we felt like they weren't going to do it, and we were kind of wondering why they didn't. And then when he finally got the surgery, I was like, that makes sense.
That's why. Yep.
I was a little surprised that they didn't deal Dean Kukin.
Keeping Dean, I'm fine with it.
His contract's up, though, unless they plan on keeping him around.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. He's a fine defenseman. I felt like you probably could have gotten like some kind of mid-pick for him.
Good third pairing guy.
Yeah. Teams could use a guy like that. I mean, you can always use that.
Yeah.
So I was a little surprised by that, but I mean, that's not the end of the world.
No, I'm fine with it. Like, he's good. And it's like, you watch other guys on that D-core play that got their chances higher in the lineup. Like we've seen that with Andrew Peak recently. Right?
Yeah.
And Peak's had his moments like when the own goal more recently. But I mean, Peak's been playing fine.
Yeah. He's okay. Defensively he's fine. I'd like to see a little bit more in transition and offensively, but he's still young.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Kooks is still here. Corpy, obviously out of good faith, is still here. Max is gone. Good luck in Carolina, except for against us.
Just against the Capitals.
He did. That was very fun to see. And I mean, he gets to play with KK again.
Yeah. Did he play with KK? Maybe for a year, right?
For a little bit, yeah.
Wow. I didn't even think about that. Oh, I'm excited for him because I personally feel like so he came to Columbus. It was not a fit with Torts.
No, not at all. Well, a lot of guys didn't really fit well with Torts.
Yeah. The next year they tried it again with Brad. It went a hell of a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
But his role wasn't ironed out. He was kind of all over the place.
Yep.
He gets a fresh new start with Rod Brindamore.
Oh yeah.
I mean, let me tell you, man, you can't if you're not ready to run through a brick wall for that guy. If that guy can't get you up and ready to play, then.
Did you see what his dad said?
Up, dog.
See what Ty said?
What did he say?
He said something like, "Dude, the fact that my son gets to play for Rod Brindamore now, oh my god." Like something along those lines. Because I mean, those guys played against each other.
Yeah. I'm telling you, it's crazy. It feels like the last few years we've had this wave of these elite players becoming either coaches or general managers.
Mm-hmm.
And doing a really freaking good job of doing it.
Fresh one, Martin St. Louis.
Yeah, Marty St. Louis is doing a hell of a job behind the bench, but Stevie Y in the front office.
Yep.
Sakic in front office. And I mean, this guy.
Even guys that were more or less like not as much names, like Bill Guerin in the front office, right?
Bill Guerin was a hell of a player too, and he's doing a hell of a job in the front.
He's not like he's not one of those names
not like those guys.
He's
still a hell of a player. Still like a really great career, but yeah, I get what you mean. It's definitely helpful.
Mm-hmm.
But let me tell you, man, Rod Brindamore, it's crazy.
Sheldon Keefe. dude. Like even guys like Sheldon, like, like so many former players are now either coaches or front office people. And we're seeing, like you said, we're seeing the elite of the elite step in now.
Right. How long did he play?
Brindy?
No, Sheldon Keefe.
Oh, Keefe only.
I'm not going to give you Sheldon Keefe. He had 12 goals in his career.
Well, didn't he win with Tampa?
He might have. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure he won the cup with Tampa.
I'm not giving you that, man. That guy scored 12 goals and 12 assists in 125 games, man. I'm talking about the elite players. Way out here talking about like if Ilya Labushkin's going to be a coach. Great player, man.
Bulls running the defense tonight, man. Come on.
I'm excited about that. That's a because we've heard nothing but good things about Jared Bull as a coach.
Oh yeah,
like player development, his eye for talent. Because he was never a guy that was really going out there making a huge difference on the ice in terms of offense, defense, stuff like that. He was an enforcer.
Yes.
He was giving you energy. He was physical. He was going to lay the body, and he was going to beat the shit out of your face.
Right.
That was his job. But like, clearly there's a hockey mind there because he didn't even play defense, and they're letting him coach the defensive core tonight. Now
with no Zach.
So I'm interested to see how the defense plays, man, because we've been hearing for the last year plus that Jared Bull's a really interesting option moving forward in the Blue Jackets coaching staff because people
Mike said it when we had Mike Todd on. He said it.
Yeah. So that's another thing to be excited about with him. But I'm excited to see it. Like we said, like because it doesn't matter how we do going forward because we're not making the playoffs, but we're satisfied with everything. You get to see some interesting things. Like we talked about, Corpusal is out. I want to see a little bit more of JF Berube.
Yes.
I want to see if he's the backup moving forward. We get a chance to see if Jared Bull is the legitimate coach, whether it be defense, offense, whatever. I don't care. But he's obviously doing good in player development.
Kennedy's running the offense, and Pascal Vincent is running the whole bench.
Yeah, and I'm excited about that too. We get opportunities to see different players. I want to see more of Gabe Carlson the rest of the season, because he, you got to know what you got. You got to know what you have in him.
How many times have I said that I just want to see more from Carlson?
I want to see more Bemmer in the last couple of, in the last few games. See if you have anything in the bottom six there, because frankly, I think him, Robbie, and Corrali looked pretty damn good together. Oh, yeah. And then in the next couple of weeks, Michigan's doing a hell of a job. They're going to the Frozen Four, so you're not going to have him for a little bit, but you might have Kent Johnson for a few games before the end of the year.
Might have Kent. Who knows if Tex is going to come back with whatever he's got going on personally.
Yeah.
If you don't, that's okay. Just wish Tex well too.
I mean, well, now here's the other thing. Now that you traded away Max Domi,
and put Tex in there next year.
Well, I was also going to say, since Kent Johnson's not coming for the next couple of weeks because he's still got to do the Frozen Four, why don't you call up Liam Foudy?
Give Foudy his chance. Yes.
Yeah. Call up Trey. see if Trey gives you anything.
Trey could give you something. We've seen that already. But again, I want to stick with Foudy because he's been the guy that we've talked about.
Yeah, what was he, 18th overall?
18th overall pick in 2018. This kid rocked it in the bubble.
Yeah, he looked pretty good in the regular season when he had to play for the Blue Jackets. It was only a few games, but it was on an emergency basis. And we just haven't heard from him since. And I want to know what we got in the guy.
Right.
Because, at the end of the day, Len, you got Cole Sillinger. You just drafted Kent Johnson.
You have Sean Corrali.
Sean Corrali's good in the bottom six. We're doing just fine at center. So if this guy isn't a pure center, or if he's not a top six center, I can live with it. But if he's just a speedy guy who's going to be good on the penalty kill and playing the bottom six, you'd hope for more from your first round pick, but I don't care. If this guy's got control and you can use him as effectively in that role, do it.
Yeah.
Let him do it. But keeping him in the minors, I've said like I want him to get more ice time, so I'm fine with him being in the minors. But now you're in a spot. I think you got to bring it up. I think you got to try it for a few games. Give him 10 games to see how he does.
Yeah, finally give him a chance. Like, we talk about show me time, right?
Yeah.
This is Liam's show me time.
It should be. I really hope they do it. Because,
guys have already gotten their show me time, like Trey, like Carson Meyer got a little bit of show me time this year already. There's
already players that what you got in. Like, you already extended Justin Danforth, so you clearly. I'm fine with that. I'm happy to have him back next year. But I think you know what you got in him. So I think I'm okay with scratching him a bit. And it's nothing against him. It's just to give a spot to somebody else.
Nothing against guys like Bemer or Robbie.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a shot. This is the beauty of it is we get the opportunity over the next, 16 games I think we got left in the season to kind
15, 16, somewhere in there.
Yeah. We play 66. So you got 16 games left to figure out where you're at.
Yeah.
And where you're going to be going next season. So
we know bits and pieces of it.
I'd like to see 6 starts for Berube. Give me at least 6 starts for him. And in those 6 starts, I want to see if this guy has anything that makes me feel like he could be a backup goaltender at the NHL level. And it doesn't even have to be like, oh, he's a backup goalie, he's going to be our backup. At least show me something to give him another contract so maybe he can compete for a backup spot.
We know with this team, we know what the top 6 needs to look like when healthy. We know what the issue.
Your top line is Voracek, Jenner, and Line.
Yes. You know that your second line is some combination of Bjorkstrand, Sillinger, and Gus, or whoever you want to put in the other wing spot, right?
Yeah. I think you got to keep Gus in the top 6.
Probably. Maybe.
But you're in a damn good spot with that. Are you kidding me? You got Gus and Bjorkstrand on your second line. I feel pretty damn comfortable with that, especially with Cole in the middle.
Oh yeah. And then the bottom 6 is a little in flux with who you can bring in and bring out. And guys need opportunities now.
Yeah. As
far as defense goes, same thing. You have Werenski and Boqvist. Those guys run the show.
And Gavrikov. You got 3 good defensemen. Zach's going to play at least 25 minutes a night. That is a hell of a lot of minutes.
Yeah.
And it doesn't. He's superhuman. So he can do it. And he's going to bring the offense. He's average defensively, but he's going to bring the offense. He's excellent in transition. He logs a lot of minutes. He's a good player.
Yes.
You get similar stuff in Gavrikov. I think, he's pretty
His offense is coming up.
His offense is coming up. His defense has come down a bit, but everybody else has, so I'm not putting too much into it. He's still solid defensively. Boqvist's defense is it comes and goes, but frankly, with how good his offense is, I can live with it.
Right.
Man, you got 3 other spots on defense. 3 other spots. It's up for anybody to pick it.
Peak, Carlson, Bayreuther, whoever, Kuhlman's, if he shows up.
He's going to take some time to develop. I'd imagine he's going to play another year at Wisconsin before he comes over. But
Fair.
But other defensemen that you got, I mean, Jake Christensen,
yes.
I'd like to see more Jake Christensen. I like what I saw from him.
I liked what I saw from him. He had got his first pro game winner recently in Cleveland.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. But free agency is an option. There's
agency too.
Free agency. Trades. You can make a deal. You can get. I think this team needs another right-hand shot defenseman who can play in the top 4.
Yeah. Put someone on with Vlad. And, yeah.
Where you get that, I don't know. It could be through free agency. It could be through trade. Doesn't matter to me. But
could be in the system, maybe eventually.
Eventually, I mean, 2 to 3 years down the line, you'd hope that Kuhlman's is going to be in that spot. But for next year, you're going to have to make a move to get someone to do it. Because frankly, You can't just run it back with this defensive core again. It's not going to work.
No. And then in net, Elvis is your guy going forward.
I want to see him bounce back a little bit. I actually had an interesting conversation with Dmitry Filipovic about it.
Oh, the name drop.
Yeah, a little bit. He obviously he loves him.
Of course.
Let me tell you what he said.
What's not to love about Elvis Merzlikins, man?
Because I was asking like a question like, the save percentage, the goals against average, the numbers really aren't that great this year. He said, I believe Elvis is legitimately good. Honestly, the Blue Jackets might be the worst defensive team in the entire league this season. Which is it's fair because they play a very loose kind of style.
Yeah.
He said the entire team plays so loose, but it's mostly because there's a bunch of young dudes who don't really know any better.
The coaching system too.
Yeah. He said, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. They weren't going to compete this year anyway, but they play a pretty fun style of hockey, and there's been a lot of scoring. I'd rather take this over whatever the hell last season was.
Well, okay. Like I said, the coaching systems, right? The defensive mind of John Tortorella is not really going to go away much, especially with having Brad under him. But at the same time, Brad just let the horses run.
Yeah, I think that next year it's going to be trying to combine the two.
Yeah.
Brad, I think, has come in and said, we don't want you to forget what you learned under John, but we're taking a sharp turn here. We want to play up tempo. We want to play offense. Let's score some fucking goals, man.
Yeah.
And I think next year it's going to be, how can we combine these two? How can we play an up-tempo style of hockey while also being efficient defensively and protecting our goaltenders? Those two have to come together. But, as those two come together, it also comes with you have to get better players. And I think offensively it seems pretty fine. Defensively, you need better.
Yeah.
Because the unfortunate thing is I like our top three defensemen, Werenski, Boqvist, and Gavrikov. The problem is none of your top three defensemen are elite defensively.
Right, exactly.
They're all good offensively. Gavrikov is really underrated offensively. Werenski, we know he can do offensively.
Oh, yeah.
Both unbelievable offensively. Those are all great.
Yeah.
Team needs a Gronk defensively. They do. And frankly, I just don't think Andrew Peake's that guy. I think he's fine. You can play him on a third pair, but I don't think he's really much any more than that.
You need, you need a guy like TJ Brody that can chip in.
Yeah, legitimately.
But at the same time can shut you down.
Exactly.
You need a Brody to balance Vlad's Jake Muzzin.
The problem is it is hard to find guys like that, but this team needs a Chris Tanev. They badly need a Chris Tanev.
Yep.
They need someone who can come in and, like you said, they chip in offensively a little bit, but they're going to shut your ass down. You can't do it on them. And if that means going out and even just if those guys aren't available, then go out and get one of those low action players for your third pair. Get a Labushkin, get someone like that. It doesn't have to be that specific player.
Right.
Get someone who could shut you down. Someone in the final minute 30 of a game, you feel comfortable putting them out there because they are going to be able to help out defensively.
Right.
They're not going to make any mistakes, and you're going to be able to close out games.
Yes. And then again, as far as the goaltending question goes, really it's just the backup spot, and we're both in agreement on let Berube earn the job.
I want him to earn the job. If the Blue Jackets say we're going to give him some starts, we'll give him an extension if he plays well, but we're also going to bring in another guy to compete with him, go ahead. That's fine by me. But I want to see him get a chance, man, because, and this isn't to shit on Corby per se, but I mean, that guy, he's played 4 games this season. He had a 924 in that time frame. Dude, 924 in a 4-game stretch, that's a really small sample size, but that's a 4-game stretch that we haven't seen from Korpisalo or really Elvis in the last 2 years.
Right.
Elvis wasn't bad last year. He had a pretty good season last year. This season, his numbers have fallen, but I think with the way that the team plays, there's a correlation there.
Yeah.
But damn, there's just something there with Berube, and this guy's been working at it for so damn long.
Dude, he got his first time with us for the first time in over 1,000 days.
Exactly. Like if this guy could be the next Curtis McElhinney, wouldn't that be something?
Wouldn't that be amazing?
You know, we're not asking this guy to be special. We're asking him just to be a legitimate backup goaltender. He might have it in him.
Just stop pucks. That's your gig.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter how often you play. Give whoever's the starter, in this case Elvis, some rest.
He can be reliable enough.
Yeah.
Our guy Elvis a night off occasionally.
Right.
That's your job.
Especially during back-to-backs.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a big thing. It's a big thing for this team moving forward. But I think where we stand right now, there's a hell of a lot of things to be happy about.
I'm content with where this team is. I'm honestly the big thing now is just getting guys that need locked. Patrick Laine.
Yeah, giving him a lot of money so he can stay.
Like guys that you really want and need to keep. Again, Patrick Laine. Mm-hmm. Come on. That's really like the rest of the season can play out however it is, as long as they stay competitive, and we're just gonna enjoy the ride.
Yeah,